Okay, so we're about to talk about curved arrows. So I want to take a minute to pause and say this chapter has been a lot, so I kind of want to review it. And I also want to validate any feelings you're having. If you're feeling like, oh, yep, this is mostly a review and I feel great, awesome. If you're feeling more like, this is a lot of information and I need to process it, that's okay. You can take your time to process it. This is a little bit of a longer chapter. The next one's a little bit shorter. But I want you to just do your best to try to learn these concepts and try to apply them. So I know it's kind of a lot, but just do your best. And then I want to do a quick review. Do your best, I guess I would say, and know that you're going to get a lot of practice. And it's okay if it feels like a lot right now. As long as you're practicing, you're going to be set up well for success. So I just wanted to take a minute to acknowledge that. We've had a lot of videos so far, and just say you're doing great. Okay, so just to remind you what we've covered in this chapter, we talked about what even is organic chemistry, carbon-based compounds, what are chemical bonds, they form with the overlap of electrons. We talked about writing Lewis structures using formal charge, and we also talked about hybridization and shapes of molecules. And then we talked about how can we show those shapes of molecules and all the different representations that we've used. And then this is, I think, where organic chemistry can be overwhelming. So we showed you how to use bond line formula, and then immediately we started doing asking questions about that. So we talked about isomers and making isomers, and now we're going to do curved arrows, which is another new notation. So it is a lot, but the more you practice, the more fluent, so to speak, you'll be in organic chemistry language, and the easier time you'll have. So I mentioned at the beginning, organic chemistry is all about the reactions of chemistry of carbon-containing molecules. And these reactions are, they happen when bonds are formed or broken, and bonds are formed or broken when electrons are shared between atoms or not shared between atoms. So the idea of electrons being shared or not shared is something that's coming back up, and that's why we had to start with talking about chemical bonds. So we use curved arrows to show how electrons are moving so that we know if bonds are being formed or broken or moved around in some way. So curved arrows are not going to go away. You're going to see them every chapter, probably for the rest of organic chemistry. So curved arrows show the movement of electrons. They do not show the movement of atoms. They show the movement of electrons, not atoms. They start from areas with more electrons, and they move to areas with less electrons. So they always start at the electron. They can be double-headed, showing the movement of 2 electrons, or single-headed, showing the movement of 1 electron. And you've seen single-headed or single-barbed arrows before when we do like s and p orbitals and we show 2 electrons, each one with an arrow pointed one way or the other. And here's an example, and again, this is kind of blurry. I'll fix this in the future, but essentially we have 2 fluorine atoms. Each one has an unpaired electron. Then we have a single barbed arrow coming to meet in the middle to show a bond forming between these 2 atoms. So curved arrows might show bonds being made. That's what we had on the last side, or they might show bonds being broken. So homolysis or homolysis is bonds being split evenly to make 2 radicals, and radicals are unpaired electrons. Heterolysis or heterolysis is bond splitting unevenly. So homo means same, bonds are splitting to make 2 of the same, the electrons are splitting equally. Hetero is different, so the bonds are splitting unevenly. So we're going to draw an example of each of these, and this will be your first chance to practice drawing curved arrows. So heterolysis and homolysis and heterolysis. Homo means same, so we'll get the same number of electrons. on each side. And homolysis means different number of electrons on each side. So an example, I'll use two hydrogens being bonded together. So if we have two hydrogens and they're bonded together, remember this bond is made up of two electrons. So I'm going to draw those electrons in as little dots. Actually, I'll draw them in as different colored dots. So here's one electron in red, and here's one electron in green. So those two electrons make up this bond, and they're going to split evenly for homolysis. So you can see that's a single barbed arrow, similar to that. And it starts at the electron and points to where the electron is going. So it's saying this electron is moving from being part of this bond to just hanging out on that hydrogen. And then we'll do the same over here. So this arrow is saying this electron is moving from being part of this bond to being on that hydrogen. So we end up with two separate hydrogen atoms, each with its own radical, one electron, because this bond split evenly. You're going to see homolysis much less often. Much more often you'll see heterolysis, so splitting evenly, or different numbers of electrons on each side. So if you have that, so we have the same thing. This bond is made up of two electrons. And I'm going to show a double-headed arrow. So see how there's 2 points on my arrow, so it looks more like this. And that's going to end up in one hydrogen having 2 electrons and one hydrogen having none. And actually, if we use our formal charge rules, this one would be negative and this one would be positive. So this split unevenly. And this arrow is saying these 2 electrons are going from being part of this bond. Bond is breaking, the electrons are going to leave, and they're going to hang out here with this hydrogen. So we did that together so you could see what it looks like, but you're going to need to draw it on your own. And you'll have some practice problems to do that. So heterolytic or heterolysis, heterolytic cleavage is usually used, oh sorry, that's wrong. Homolytic cleavage is usually used in dental practices. So the polymers, I forgot where I was going with this. Let me start over. Okay, homolytic cleavage is typically used in dental practices. That's a typo, that should say homolytic. So we have in dental fillings, those are typically polymers, and the polymers are formed by radical reactions. So you need a radical to start the chain reaction of making these polymers. And I talked about what polymers were a little bit at the beginning, but just a reminder, they're these repeating units of like the same molecule over and over. But to get those molecules to react, you typically need radicals. And so you can shine light on a special molecule in those dental polymers that will split. When you shine the perfect amount of light on it, it'll split into an even cleavage to make 2 radicals, just like we drew that hydrogen. It makes homolytic cleavage. And you get 2 radicals, and those radicals will initiate the chain reaction that makes the polymer that will then harden in your mouth. And that's why if you've ever been to the dentist and they shine light on the filling they put, that's what they're doing, is they're inducing a homolytic reaction. So that's why these things matter, is so that we can understand, okay, now how do we make the best dental composite possible? We need to understand how molecules are reacting. Okay, so I have given you 2 examples, and again, these pictures are blurry. I know exactly why they are, but I didn't know that they were blurry until I started this video. I've given you 2 examples of curved arrows, and I want you to follow those curved arrows. So both of these are double barbed curved arrows. So this one is pointing from the bond between the carbon and oxygen to the oxygen. And this one is pointed from a lone pair over here. We haven't seen something like this before, towards a hydrogen. So take your best guess at what is going to be the product, what would result from these curved arrows from these moving. And both of them are double barbed curved arrows, so they're both moving together. Okay, so hopefully you paused the video and you tried this on your own. You really should if you haven't already. And I think I forgot to draw, there's these implied lone pairs on this oxygen. And so the curved arrows looked like this with the double barbed curved arrows. And they started at this bond right here and they pointed to that oxygen on the top. Had to sneeze. Okay, so I didn't want to sneeze right in the mic. So I'm going to draw in the 2 electrons that make up this bond. You can't really see on that purple. I'll draw it in red. So here are the 2 electrons that make up this bond. And these electrons, this bond is breaking, they're leaving that, and they're going to join up with the oxygen. So hopefully you predicted that it would look like this, with the oxygen having, you can't even tell those are red on here. The oxygen getting 2 new, the oxygen getting 2 new lone pairs on it. And if we do our rules of formal charge, this should be negatively charged. And if you're not sure why, you can calculate formal charge, and this carbon actually should be positively charged. Okay, and the other one, so if you don't know why, do your formal charge on that. And if you don't know why, it's important to try to learn because that's going to come up a lot in organic chemistry. Okay, so we have this. The other curved arrow is this oxygen is drawn towards that hydrogen. And note, it's a double barbed arrow, so both of the electrons in this lone pair are moving. And also note that it starts over the area with more electrons and points to the positive side. And so that's a true thing for drawing curved arrows, is they're always going to start in the negative area and move towards the positive area. So essentially what this is saying is these 2 electrons, I'll circle them in pink, they're no longer just going to be hanging out with the oxygen, they're forming a bond with this hydrogen. And so what will happen is now all this oxygen, all the rest of this stuff is not going to change, but this lone pair is now going to form a bond with hydrogen. And we've made water. So you've actually seen H plus and OH minus react before, but you saw it often probably like this. H plus OH minus gives you H2O. But now you can say which electrons moved towards the hydrogen to make that bond. Or you can show how the electrons moved to make that bond. Okay, I think I will stop here and move into using resonance structures to make arrows in, using curved arrows to make resonance structures in the next video.